Hey, you probably might be wondering where I've been for God knows how long I've been. But for those who probably may or may not have known, or for those that don't know, that I've basically have been on Twitter for like a really long time, probably like since like 2021. That's basically I've been posting just like Minecraft fan art or something like that. But if you've seen my content before, like on YouTube, for example, it's not much, but it's basically just about dsmp and stuff. And that was basically it. But but prior to that, I've been on YouTube for quite some time now. Probably ever since when it when it was maybe when it was still at its prime or something like that. But I do remember at around when I was 10 years old, I first discovered the internet in elementary school or something like that, which is, believe it or not, is crazy. But since then, the internet, specifically YouTube, has been has been a part of my life or something like that. But it's basically all I knew at some point in some degrees. Now, technically, it has played a role. It made a huge impact on my livelihood of wanting to have escapism, basically. And as someone who has dealt with some issues regarding their medical history and stuff, and going in and out of hospitals and stuff, and struggling with school from some parts of my life, uh alongside with a couple of video games like Little Big Planet or and Minecraft and sometimes Ratchet and Clank on my PS3 or something like that. uh the internet, specifically YouTube, has been one of those things that has been like the one dream I always wanted to have. And as I got older, and me just trying to explore different things, like who I wanted to be when I grow up, my answers like but prior to that, I always wanted to say I wanted to be a doctor or something like that. You know what I mean? Every kid can dream, right? So my my initial goal was basically just to become a YouTuber because of some early OG Minecraft YouTubers. Say for instance popular MMOs, Sky Does Minecraft, Stampy, DanTDM, uh um Yogscast, and some other folks too, Stampy, and at least to my knowledge, yeah. I wanted to be just like them when I was a kid. Um, which for some reason it brought me back to the times where I wanted to be a Minecraft YouTuber like them. But this time it somehow took an effect on me mentally. Not just that, but I guess psychologically, if that's the right word I was looking for. For instance, like with like the Dream SMP thing, with like Dream George, Seven Up, and all the other folks too, like Tommy, Tubble, Wilbur, Phil, Techno, and many other folks at the time. By the way, at the time, but what I didn't realize was that I've been like having an issue. I've been having this issue mentally wise that I always thought that maybe if I'd probably like if I do this thing, maybe they'll notice me and like I was obsessed. Okay, I was like, you'd say I was like, I would say parasocial, but it would also be like there's like another reason, but I don't know at the top of my head at this point yet. But but at this point, I realized that after all this time, throughout my young years of like wanting to become a YouTuber someday and stuff like that, to even the point where like, hey, there's like people that do animation and art and stuff on YouTube too, like, and that also got me engaged with it too. There was just something in my brain that like never really wanted to express it on the internet, even though she has been stated time and time again that I wanted to be this, I wanted to be that. And even with using like Twitter and stuff, which is already a bad place in and of itself already. I I've been having this mindset that I've always been like I've always like been here in this mindset of being popular and stuff. Like wanting to get their attention and stuff. Like I was just I would say parasocial, which I mean which honestly does explain I don't know. I'll explain later about the parasocial thing soon. But basically, I was like obsessed to the point where it would eventually, in some points or another, make something on YouTube. But it's just like low effort. Even though my art, for the most part, is like okay. But again, it's I don't know, like the entirety of me being part of a community that was thought that was thought to one day like get me going and get me into the grind of like making YouTube videos for the first time in years. It just it feels like I've waited way too long. And it really shows because for the longest time prior to this, YouTube was all I know. And all of these ideas I had in my mind, I wanted to express on the internet. But again, due to like my personal life and stuff, and with school and everything else, it just like, and with like COVID and with the quarantine and stuff, it just, I guess like lockdown just kind of made it worse. No, it actually made it worse, to be honest. mind you guys, I was like a teenager at the time when COVID happened, so yeah, and like I don't know, it's like my younger self still wants to become a YouTuber. But after how much YouTube has changed nowadays in the year 2025, it's just it's making me double check everything. Like I want to post something, whether if it's whether with low effort or high effort. Just have the confidence to make something, create something, or talk about something, and just plaster it on the internet with no hiccups whatsoever. It just feels more anxious at this point. And I know I'm not like a very popular content creator. I'm not like a biggest content creator out there like others are. I'm basically just a small content creator that just wants to make something out of pure joy and confidence. And to be quite honest, I still have that mindset to this day, but yet at the same time I want to move on. I want to like mentally move on with this from this mindset and just find something else to do that could one day make me money, you know? But like I know like money is not like the thing, cuz like I don't want to be greedy or anything. But then again, it's like this feels more like a hobby rather than like a full-time job. So I've been basically trying to distance myself from the internet as best I could. But apparently actions speak louder than words, because 9 times out of 10 I'm still struggling. But I'm doing okay now. I'm just kind of like dealing with college right now. So being 20 is crazy because like you have all these responsibilities to do and stuff. But yet you still think like a teenager because of like especially post lockdown quarantine, not realizing that you've learned nothing. You've realized that you've learned nothing from what you've experienced, and instead you've been just sitting there on a phone or on a TV watching others living their dream whilst dreaming to achieve that dream. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? I don't know. But overall, oops. Overall, the thing I wanted to like say is just like tell y'all where I've been. So yeah, I've just been on like Twitter just posting like Dream dsmp fan art for a while, and then another server called QSMP rolled around, and I was like, oh yes, perfect. It's still kind of all that still took a toll of my mental health at some point. I don't know why, I don't know how, but I don't know. But somehow, even if I did so little, it felt like I've done a lot, yet so little. on my YouTube channel. It just feels upsetting. It was like I basically hyped up this channel, not to you guys, but just to myself. I've been hyping up myself with this channel, like, oh yes, I have all these people that have inspired me to do such things like this. Like, I wanted to be just like them. All for, but for what reason and for what cost? And it just makes me want to ask my past self, why haven't you started yet? Why haven't I started yet? And procrastinating, laziness, or the phrase I don't know is not just the excuse. It's not just one of the excuses, but still. I'll explain more next time in another video if I get the opportunity to, but that's all the things I can tell y'all about. Moral of the story is just be careful who you look up to in some degree, because you'll never know when you start to realize that it has taken a toll on you mentally or whatever the case may be. But I'll when I post something else, I don't know. I might not, but whatever. Stay tuned, I guess.